Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of RC Retirement. Today I've got another interesting topic for everyone. At least I think so, but I'm a little biased, right? Alright, today I'm going to cover a bonus benefit, you could say. This is not something that all serving reservists have, but if you're in these particular states, then this is a possibility for you. There are some states in the Union who provide a National Guard service pension of varying amounts, and I'm going to describe those in brief detail today. So, from my research, I have found 4 states that offer this benefit, and if any of you out there know of other states, then please let me know so I can dig into that. But I've looked through several resources trying to identify which states have these benefits, and this is what I found. So those states are Florida, Georgia, Michigan, and North Carolina. And I'm going to give you some detail on each. Don't worry, I'm not going to read the law to you. I am going to show it on the screen and make it available in the show notes, but I'm only going to display it on the screen and give you the highlights, so you don't have to fall asleep, while I read law. That would be quite boring. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into Florida. I'll pull that up on the screen now. Alright, so the basics of the Florida National Guard pension, and these are all National Guard, by the way. Army Reserve and other components do not qualify, but Army and Air National Guard do. So anyway, for Florida, you have to be at least 62 years of age, have had a combined total of 30 years of service. That's both in the Florida Guard, and it can include active components as well. And one thing that is very interesting with the Florida law is it has a double service multiplier for certain periods of service. And if you look at the dates of that, which is on the next page here, then you'll see down here in subparagraph 4 a series of dates, and those are World War II, Korea, Desert Storm, things of that nature. So if you were in the Florida National Guard and called into active service, then your periods of active service would be doubled as far as service credit for this state pension. Now, how much is that state pension, you might wonder, and I've already gone past it, but don't worry, I'll have a chart at the end which shows all of this. The Florida National Guard pension, if you meet these requirements, minimum 30 years of total service, and that does not include inactive or reserve list time, so keep that in mind. Then the Florida National Guard pension is 50% of base pay minus what other federal pension you might be eligible to receive for military service. Notice I said eligible, so that means even if it's being offset by VA compensation or whatever reason, you were eligible for that amount, so that would be offset as well from the Florida National Guard pension. And for some folks, that might actually eliminate it entirely, or there might still be some left over. It varies from person to person. And there is no real survivor benefit for anyone with the Florida pension. Upon the death of the service member, the last month of pay would be remitted, but nothing after that. The service pension terminates with the death of the service member. All right, now let's move on to Georgia. Georgia is a bit simpler in its service pension, as are all of the other states I'm going to cover. So for Georgia, you have to have a minimum of 20 total years of service, with at least 15 of those being in the Georgia National Guard. Have served at least 10 consecutive years in the Georgia National Guard before discharge, and have reached the age of 60. The minimum amount of service pension under the Georgia National Guard provision is $50 per month, and for every year over the 20th year of service in the Georgia National Guard, I'm going to stress that every time, for every year above 20, $5 will be added to that service pension, up to a maximum of $100 per month. So that would work out to, if you have 30 years of total service and 25 of those minimum were in the Georgia National Guard, you would have an additional $100 benefit added to your, well, not added to, but in addition to your federal pension, you would also have this state pension. Now, like Florida, on the death of an individual, those monthly payments stop. The last month is paid, but there is no provision for a survivor benefit. That will change with the next one that I'm going to cover, though. The next service pension is Michigan. And if you're looking at the law here, which you can't help but be doing, the law looks like it's rather complex, but when you boil it down, it is quite simple. The Michigan National Guard requirement is that you have 19 years, 6 months, and 1 day minimum of Michigan National Guard service, and have attained the age of 55. Now, if you're looking at the law, I know right here at the top it says attainment of 62 years of age, but if you drop down to subparagraph Delta 2, it does say that you can receive this pension at age 55 if you meet the requirements. So again, for Michigan, it's 19 years, 6 months, and 1 day of minimum Michigan National Guard service, Army or Air. And an interesting addition in Michigan law, service in the state defense force is also creditable for the state pension. So meet those service requirements, and that's an extra $50 per month. And this one actually has a survivor benefit upon the death of the service member, an amount of $41.67, which is 500 divided by 12, because these bits of law state an annual amount, but they are paid in monthly installments. So in the case of the death of the service member, the spouse of the service member can receive a survivor benefit of $41.67 per month for the rest of the spouse's life, and there's no premiums paid for this survivor benefit. This is just something gratis for the spouse. But like I said a moment ago, what's rather interesting in contrast to the other states is state defense force service qualifies for this pension. There was some debate about that within the state, but just recently a service member qualified for the state pension through Defense Force service. In fact, when you read the law here, it says that qualification for the state benefit in Michigan is 19 years, 6 months, and 1 day. This says 20 years, but it also says that any fraction of a year over half will equal a full year. So 19 years, 6 months, and 1 day equals 20. But look at the law, and it says qualification for this is 20 years of service in the Army National Guard or Defense Force or Air National Guard. It just says Michigan National Guard or Michigan Defense Force, or a combination of the two. So that is very interesting. So it'd be nice if other states had something like that to compensate their SDFs, because those people put in a lot of benefit or a lot of work for little recognition and little benefit. Moving on, we have North Carolina. North Carolina is another one that has a sliding scale for its state pension. The minimum service in North Carolina is 20 years of total military service, and 15 of that being in the North Carolina National Guard. The service pension here, and a minimum of age 60, of course. A pension of $105 per month, and for each additional year of service above 15 in the North Carolina Guard, they will add $10.50 to that amount, up to a maximum of $210 per month. So just like the Georgia Guard, you can serve for 15 years in that state, have a minimum of 20, and be eligible for a certain amount of state retirement pay. But each year above that, for another 10 years, will add more money to that little check. So again, a very nice little additive, little incentive for service in those states. And just like Florida and Georgia, the survivor benefit in North Carolina is nil. They will pay the final month, but after that the benefit ceases. And I've got a lot of, in fact, North Carolina had the second longest set of law defining these pensions. Michigan actually had the longest, but I only included portions of it here. There are some more relevant portions. And in fact, North Carolina here is 3 different slides full of information. But I've covered the highlights. Now let's go to a nice little summary of them all. So this simple chart shows the minimum state service, the amount per month, and the minimum age at which you can receive these various pensions. Now, notice I said under Florida 30 years including federal service, so the state service is an additive to that. I think that sums it up fairly easily, and I am going to include all of the law that I've shown on the screen in the show notes, so you can review them yourself. There are also links in the show notes for where I pulled these bits of law, and you can review them yourself if you like. But I believe I've given you a very good summary of each of these. As I said at the beginning, if any of you out there know of other states with National Guard pensions, let me know about them so I can cover them. These are the 4 that I have found, but I'm positive there may be a few others out there that I simply did not discover. So let me know about that. If you have any questions about eligibility for these or certain details of these pensions, please let me know. My email address is dj@rcretirement.com, and I'll answer questions about these benefits as well as any others you may have. That's all I have for this week. I do thank you for being with me as part of the audience and for spending your time with me as always. If you would like to support my educational efforts, I invite you to join my Patreon campaign at patreon.com/rcretirement. There are several pre-established levels of support, and if you don't like any of those, you can create your own. Any amount helps in this job. This is my full-time job. Not just the making of videos and podcasts, but assisting others with either learning about service benefits or obtaining those benefits. And regarding obtaining benefits, you can look at rcretirement.com and click on the Fees for Services tab and see what range of services I offer, as well as the costs. And if you are a Patreon subscriber for $25 or more per month, I will give a 20% discount off of those rates. So a little bit in one avenue can save you a great deal in another. Alright, so like I said, that's it for this week. I will have more information for you later on. And until then, thank you for your service. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.